Welcome back. Public and statutory hearings, none. Delegations, none. Bylaws and policy. The District of Sycamoose Building Regulation Bylaw number 1056/2025, first, second, and third reading. There's a recommendation the District of Sycamoose Building Regulations Bylaw 1056/2025 be given second and third reading this 12th day of November 2025. Could I get a mover? Councillor Bushel, Councillor Beach. Nicole, take it away.
Okay, thank you through the chair. So I have a presentation with a few slides just to walk through the updates. So a little bit of background. The current bylaw is from 2008. It's about 17 years old. That's a fun fact. 2 updates have been made to it, which is actually pretty minimal. There was one in 2009 for some permit expiry details, and then step code compliance changes in 2023. So we underwent a review process and gathered input from Planning and Development Committee, a couple different meetings that we attended to discuss the building bylaw. And then, of course, internal departments, and most importantly, our building official who's been working quite extensively with the building community. In general, and I mentioned this at the Planning and Development Committee, the bylaw works for the community and the building official to do what we got to do, but there were some updates that we felt needed to be made. So the changes are mostly minor, and I'll go through a few slides of what those are. And then the recommendation is to completely repeal the 2008 bylaw and adopt a new bylaw, just because there were so many updates, renumbering, removals, additions. And it's not a bad practice to just update your bylaw like this. Okay, so attached to the staff report, which I know has been helpful in the past, is the current building bylaw, and it has red font showing the updates. It's not showing everything, so renumbering, spelling mistakes, anything like that, we didn't bother to identify, but it does have the updates in there. And then also attached, of course, is the fully executed bylaw, I guess, accepting everything that has been in the red font in the existing bylaw. Okay, so these next 3 slides are some of the updates. Okay, removal of unused or redundant definitions, and we have some new ones added. There's some updates to terminology to reflect current standards, practices. We have updated references to legislation and authorities. Things have changed in 17 years, so we've updated who does what. Expanded language to clarify which types of renovations require a building permit under the building code. The building official felt like that would be useful for the building community, kind of like a elimination of the requirement for separate applications for each building or structure on a property. We quite often combine applications if you're doing a single family dwelling and a garage at the same time. So just removing that red tape in there, we will combine them or continue to combine them. And now it's reflected in the bylaw. We've removed the Appendix D, which is climatic data. That's not static information and it's outdated. So we're currently working with Environment Canada to get a document that is more up to date for both the building official to use in their review and the building community to use when they're designing. Next slide. Addition of provisions specific to farm buildings. So the building official let us know that our current building bylaw doesn't speak to farm buildings where there might be well, not really human occupancy, but people, I guess the example I could give is if it was a stadium with bleachers and people were coming there, and then we have to start thinking about safety for not just animals, but humans as well. So we've had a few different bullet points added to the building bylaw for that. Not suggesting that we're going to ask for, building permits for farm buildings. It's more of the human occupancy component where we're going to have to, start thinking about people in there. Addition of the requirement for a siting permit. So we've been talking about that quite a bit. And right now, in the bylaw, it's proposed that we would request a siting permit for park model trailers only. There was a lot of discussion at the Planning and Development Committee meeting where there's a ton of things that we can ask a siting permit for, but it's been narrowed down to park model trailers. And really, if you don't know, the intent of the siting permit would be to check against land use and zoning bylaws to ensure the setbacks are being met when park model trailers are placed on a property. We know that we have quite a few RVP zones and some rec vehicle parks proposed that tool would be useful. There's clarification in the bylaw that the pool parameter, so swimming pools, only applies to commercial at this time. If council wanted to talk about having requirements for private pools, we can talk about that, but that's a much bigger topic and not included in this revised bylaw. So there's clarification that the bylaw only applies to commercial. And really, there's none. Introduction of a deposit requirement for accessory buildings and structures. So the building official finds that we have a deposit for demos and then single-family dwellings, multifamily, commercial, of course, but nothing for garages or decks or of things like that. And so we have added a deposit requirement. And what they find is that when there's a deposit and people will get money back at the end of finalizing their building permit, there's more incentive for them to actually do that instead of have a building permit hanging around unfinalized. And then we have, some bylaw enforcement provisions. So in the current building bylaw, there's no bylaw enforcement provisions. So we've added our standard language that is also in other bylaws for the district to the building bylaw. That's an important one. Okay, this is the last slide of some of the updates. We have some clarification, and I think this slide is a lot of operational comments. So clarification on the district's role in determining sewer servicing requirements, corrections to water and sewer line depth specs so that it aligns with the subdivision and development servicing bylaw. We had different depths required in the building bylaw and then the subdivision servicing bylaw. So those are mirrored now to the subdivision development servicing bylaw. We have some clarification on stormwater management requirements, addition of requirements for debris removal from public roads, a requirement to terminate services at the original location for a moving permit, and then a requirement to disconnect services prior to the commencement of a demo to protect municipal utilities. That's a brief summary of the updates. At the last Planning and Development Committee meeting on October 15th, we discussed the draft bylaw and a recommendation was made that we go to first, second, and third reading. Then for next steps, so the current fee for a demo or a moving permit is $150, and that's per our fees and charges bylaw. And so if we're going to introduce a siting permit, we would suggest that the fee for that is a flat rate of $150. And it's really just to cover the time spent to check setbacks and ensure that it's meeting the district's bylaws. Then if the building bylaw is adopted, we would present a separate bylaw amendment to the fees and charges bylaw to do that. And then, of course, we'd have to update our building permit application forms, and we are on standby for that. I think the last step is, yes, the recommendation is that first, second, third reading be given for 10/56/2025.
Thanks, Nicole. Council, any questions? Bushel, Councillor Bushel.
We just, we went through it with the Planning and Development Committee and feel that the staff have done a great job putting the recommendations together. And we're looking forward to fourth reading so we can hear some comments and we're good with it so far.
Anyone else? Let's call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, Council Procedure Amendment Bylaw number 1058/2025 adoption. Recommendation of the District of Sycamoose Council Procedure Amendment Bylaw number 1058/2025 be adopted this 12th day of November 2025. Member, Councillor Beach, Councillor Bushel. Hampton, take it away.
Thank you. So through the chair, this is a council procedure amendment bylaw that was given first, second, and third readings on October 8th. Since then, it's been advertised in 2 consecutive issues of the Salmon Arm Observer, fulfilling the statutory notice requirement of any changes to the council procedure bylaw. And this amendment bylaw primarily adds the monthly CAO report to the order of proceedings for a regular council meeting. It's also adding some clarity to the bylaw for staff. So we've made some minor tweaks here and there just to improve the clarity of the bylaw. And back to you.
Thank you. Council, any questions? Let me call the question. Go ahead, Councillor Bushel.
Just have one, and I don't know if staff have looked at it, because I follow the Salmon Arm council meetings quite a bit. And I noticed on the, and it's kind of, it's really clear if there's a conflict of interest. At the beginning of all their meetings, they have a section in there that they ask for conflict of interest, and everybody has to state it at that time, and it gets put in the record. So have you thought about that?
That's, sorry,
Go ahead.
the chair, that's not something that we've considered in this amendment bylaw. If that was something that we wanted to add to the council procedure bylaw in the future, we certainly could. At this point in the bylaw adoption process, then this amendment bylaw would have to be defeated and brought back around to add anything because we're already past third reading. But it's very interesting to think of a section about declaring conflicts of interest, and I'll definitely look at the Salmon Arm agendas and see what that looks like.
Just something I thought about.
Okay, thanks. Any other comments? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, development variance permit 25 DVP 013721 Hemlock Crescent. Recommendation of the District of Sycamoose Council approve development variance permit 25 DVP 013 for the property located at 721 Hemlock Crescent South. Get a mover. Councillor Beach. Councillor Evans. Nicole, take it away.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the property we're looking at today is 721 Hemlock Crescent South, and it's for a development variance permit. That's the property outlined in yellow. Okay, so one requested variance here. To describe the existing property, there's a home and then they have an existing shed in the, I guess, bottom right of the slides here. And that shed is proposed to be removed and a new garage placed. And the garage has a proposed setback of 0.61 meters and 1.5 meters is required under our zoning bylaw. So this was discussed at the Planning and Development Committee, of course, and a couple things came up under the building code to try and make this possible, including the building wouldn't be able to have any openings on the setback reduction side, and it would need specific building materials to achieve a higher fire resistance rating. So those have been discussed with the owner. And they understand that those requirements would be in place at time of the building permit if the variance was supported. Another note is if the development variance permit is supported by council, the owner would need to obtain a permit from the Ministry of Transportation. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, but in the next slide, Bianca. The Ministry of Transportation has a 4.5 meter setback regardless of our rear setbacks. So for their highways, it's 4.5 meters and they would be within that. So they meet the district setback. They don't meet the Ministry of Transportation setback. And what we would suggest is if the variance is supported tonight, we can include that as a requirement of the DVP or address it at the building permit stage, as in the building permit wouldn't be issued until there's proof that they've obtained the approval from transportation. At the Planning and Development Committee meeting, yes, it was discussed and a resolution was passed to support the variance. Something to note and was presented to the PDC is the owner's neighbor presented a letter of support for the garage in the back. They also understand that it might be an unconventional building, no windows, flat wall kind of thing. And so they were in support of that and understand what it could look like. And so the recommendation tonight is that council approve the development variance permit for the property located at 721 Hemlock Crescent South.
Thank you. Council, any questions or comments? Do we have, can I get council back on the screen? Thanks. Any questions or comments? Councillor Bushel?
Yeah, through the chair, yeah, it came to planning and we are supportive of it. I know in that subdivision, there's many other homes that are actually back on and within the 4.5 of the highways. Setback. So we supported this and the way they're building it and we supported 100%. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then let's call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, moving along, the Columbia Film Commission. There's a recommendation of the District of Sycamoose opt out of the Columbia Film Commission. I get a mover. Councillor Beach, Councillor Bailey. This came to the CSRD board last meeting. And it is, they are forming a film commission and we just opted out of the Economic Development and Film Commission. So I think that this council felt like jumping back in is in 2 or 3 years, even though it says right now there is no cost to be part of this, jumping or trying to get out in 2 or 3 years is going to be challenging as most of these things usually turn out. And we do have a really good, Carly does a great job with ECDev and tourism here in Sycamoose and can reach out to the Film Commission as well. So I think that it was our direction to Dean to write this letter. Dean?
Yeah, so council had asked me to write a letter in reaching out to the CSRD, excuse me, CAO. He'd asked to actually have a resolution, which is why we brought it back instead of me just preparing a letter. Having it as a council resolution is what is requested. So this is reflective of what the CSRD does or needs in order to do what council is requested.
Okay, any questions? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, so now we're moving right along to correspondence. Correspondence for action. Or is it correspondence for information? Oh, no, correspondence for action. Okay, we have the Shuswap Watershed Council funding request. And I think that we will just add that to budget. That just moves to budget discussions, not right now. There's no decision. We are moving into budget, so this will go into the budget deliberation. Adoption and Permanency Awards Awareness Month. Do you want to speak to that, please?
Yes, I absolutely can. So this was received from the province and it's essentially sharing information that November has been declared as Adoption and Permanency Awareness Month. In the letter, it requests that the District of Sycamoose or the municipality it's addressed to share some resources on adoption permanency. This is something that we have done in the past. Just shared on our website some of the links that are provided in the letter. So it's just being brought forward to council under correspondence for action to see if there's interest in doing a similar campaign on our website again to share those resources with families and also just to let council know that this correspondence was addressed to the District of Sycamoose and that this is a initiative that's happening throughout the month of November.
Thank you. Council, any questions? So do we need to give you some direction? Go ahead, Pam.
Yeah, I'd like to see us support the work, the Adoption and Permanency Awareness Month and give it some exposure. That's my motion.
I'll second that.
Looks like Bob's on.
Okay, Bob will second that.
All right.
Okay, any comments? Okay, it's called question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. The North Zone Kings U15 AA sponsorship request. Does anyone have any comments on this? Go ahead, Councillor Bushel.
Through the chair, another funding request and during budget season, it should just go to deliberations and whether, I'm not sure how many kids we have from Sycamoose playing on that team. Wait to budget deliberation and give out any money at this time.
Okay, that's fair. Is this time sensitive? Not that I can tell. Okay, Counselor Bailey.
Yeah, I just agree with Councillor Bushel. Put it into budget, see where we're at, and then determine how much we have to give for all the requests. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Everyone agree? Okay. Okay, correspondence for information. There was, today I brought forward the UBCM responses, provincial responses to our 2024 resolutions. One was for the Tenancy Act review, and one was, which was endorsed by UBCM, and one was for economic resiliency for tourism dependent communities. Both of those have now attached provincial responses, so you guys can review those, and if we want to move forward on those, I guess that will be our next conversation. Okay, does anyone have anything else they want to speak to in correspondence, or is that just about it? Okay, external committees for information, the Malacqua Sycamoose interagency minutes. Any comments? Committee of the whole meeting minutes last month for CSRD. I think I covered some of that today. Electoral Area Directors Committee meeting minutes. Is there some reason we have that? That's new. Okay. Okay, sounds good. All right, and that is it. So we are now open for public input. Anyone online? Anyone in the gallery? You didn't know we could get through meetings so fast.
No.
No one? No one online? All right, well, let's adjourn this meeting. 5:22, the regular council meeting for November 20. Oh, what's the date today? Well, the adjourn, could I get a mover? Counselor Bushel, Counselor Evans, all in favor? That's it. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you.